It started with a whisper, a soft murmur that echoed through the empty halls of Blackwood Manor. For a century, the grand estate had stood atop the misty cliffs of Raven Hill, watching over the town below like silent guardian. But no one lived there anymore, not since the night of vanishing. In 1892, the entire Blackwood family disappeared without a trace. Lord and Lady Blackwood, their three children, and even the dozen servants, gone. No sign of struggle, no bodies, just a eerily silent house, its doors left open, the dining table still set, candles burned down to wax puddles. For years, no one dared to enter. The town spoke of eerie lights flickering behind the windows at night, of strange figures in Victorian attire seeing pacing the balconies, of screams carried by the wind. The legend grew, but the truth remained buried until Jonathan Graves arrived. Jonathan was a paranormal investigator driven by a hunger for the unknown. He had spent years documenting haunted places, debunking myths, and sometimes confirming them. When he heard of Blackwood Manor, he knew this was his greatest challenges yet. With a team of four, Alice, his tech expert, Sam, his historian, Mike, his cameraman, and Evelyn, a psychic sensitive to spirits, Jonathan set out to uncover the truth. They arrived at the manor just before the sunset. The air was thick, heavy, with strange stillness, as if the house itself was holding its breath. The grand doors creaked open under Jonathan's touch, revealing a once beautiful foyer now draped in cobwebs and dust. The moment they stepped inside, Evelyn shivered. They never left, she whispered. As they set up their equipment, things began to feel wrong. The temperature dropped drastically, their breath misting in the air. A piano in the parlor played a single note, though no one was near it. Alice's EMF detector spiked wildly. Mike swore he saw a shadow dart across the second floor landing. Then came the voices. At first, they were faint, soft whispers echoing through the halls. But soon, they grew louder, more distinct. A woman sobbing, a child giggling, a deep, guttural voice murmuring in a language none of them understood. Evelyn clutched her head. They're watching us. They don't want us here. Then the front door slammed shut on its own. Determined to get to the bottom of the mystery, Jonathan and his team pressed on. They uncovered old journals belonging to Lady Blackwood. The last entry was chilling. He comes at night, a shadow with hollow eyes. He speaks in a tongue not of this world. We are trapped. We are his now. That was when Evelyn screamed. They turned to find her frozen in place, her eyes wide in horror, staring at something unseen. Then she was gone, vanished, just like the Blackwoods. Panic set in. Jonathan and his team searched the entire house, calling Evelyn's name. The walkie talkies crackled the static. Then Evelyn's voice whispered through. Help me, he won't go. Mike ran towards the grand staircase, only to be flung backward by an invisible force. His camera shattered, his ribs cracked. The house had turned against them. Sam, trembling, began to recite an old Latin exorcism he had read in one of the Blackwood journals. The walls trembled, The whisper turned into screams. The air thickened, pressing against their chest, and then it stopped. The silence was worse than the noise. In the eerie stillness, Jonathan noticed something he hadn't before: a massive portrait above the fireplace. Lord Blackwood, his wife, his children, and behind them, a shadow figure with hollow eyes. The entity! Jonathan breathed. The house itself was its prison, and anyone who entered became its prisoners. The Blackwoods, the servants, Evelyn, and now them. The front door creaked open, as if inviting them to leave. But as Jonathan turned, he saw something that made his blood run cold. His own face in the portrait, right where Lord Blackwood once stood. Jonathan and the remaining team member ran for the door, stumbling out in the cold night air. They didn't stop until they reached the van. They never looked back, but when they returned to the town, something was off. The town looked older, like it had stepped back a century. The people wore Victorian clothing, and when Jonathan looked into a shop window, his reflection was not his own. It was Lord Blackwood. The house had let them leave, but it had never let them go. And somewhere deep inside Blackwood Manor, Evelyn still screamed.